I am thrilled to announce the return of Morality with Motamedi. We've been previewing this for a while on our YouTube channel. Morality with Motamedi is an old segment on the show where people would write in and propose ethical dilemmas to Lewis, and then we would sort of get insight into Lewis's moral compass via his answers to these questions. It is back. You can check out some of the old clips on YouTube. Now, before we get into this week's first inaugural 2016 Morality with Motamedi, a few notes. Number one, we would love to have a musical introduction of sorts to Morality with Motamedi, the way we do with Hatred Mail. We don't yet have one. If you have something you want to put together, please send it in. We would absolutely love it. And it would be great to start taking submissions for Morality with Motamedi graphics. The only requirement is that they be in 1920 by 1080 resolution. Send in the ideas, Lewis, and we're really going to bolster the production value of Morality with Motamedi with the help of the audience, I presume.
I presume as well. Yeah, we've had plenty of great submissions, art, music, you name it, from audience members. And so same should apply here. Send it in.
Absolutely. Let's get right into the first 2016 Morality with Motamedi. Where is Lewis's moral compass today? We will find out. Here's the scenario. Two drunk drivers driving two separate cars. One hits and kills a pedestrian in a crosswalk. The other doesn't because the pedestrian happens to jump out of the way. Do they deserve different punishments or the same, given that the repercussions of their drunk driving were different only by mere chance that one pedestrian was able to jump out of the way? Lewis, I turn it over to you. Let's explore.
I think what we need to have here is a very strict penalty that would be identical for both drivers.
Really?
Yes. Because that's what you have to do if you want to combat drunk driving, right? If you look at the places in the world where we have the fewest drunk driving accidents and the lowest, the lowest rates of drunk driving generally, they are the countries that have the strictest and sometimes zero tolerance policies for alcohol and driving.
But you're going more in the direction of the how to prevent drunk driving, whereas the question is about the morals of punishing someone who drove drunk and hit someone in the exact same way as someone who drove drunk and by chance did not hit anybody.
Elaborate on that then.
All right.
It could have easily just as been just as bad for the driver where the pedestrian happened to jump out of the way, right? The behavior on the part of the driver was exactly the same.
Absolutely.
And so I think this, they could have done just as much damage. And so it's just as reckless. It's just as crazy. So we need to have the same punishment.
However, I think by counterexample, you could see how this could get us down a complicated path. Imagine a gunman, for example, who goes out there and he shoots 3 bullets. Okay. 3 rounds are fired by the gun in public. 1 round hits someone in the head and kills them. The other 2 rounds, by mere chance, miss hitting other people. Should the punishment for that be the same as if the 3 rounds had by chance killed 3 people? Would you go after them for the exact, would you ask for the exact same punishment? Because, hey, it was only by chance that the action of shooting 3 bullets vis-a-vis the action of driving drunk through a crosswalk had one set of repercussions versus another.
I think it's a little bit different.
Why?
Well, what would happen in the case right now, what would happen in the case of that shooter is that they would be charged with murder, and then there would be 2 charges of maybe attempted murder.
Well, not if it wasn't a specific person they were trying to hit, maybe reckless endangerment or something related to a gun charge, whatever.
If they were aiming for those people or whatever. Okay.
Right.
But they knew what they were doing, and they were trying to achieve or accomplish something, presumably, and they partially succeeded. They failed in the other cases. But when you're drunk driving, I think in the case of the 2 drivers we were talking about, is there any motive or plan at all? Or is it just someone who gets in a car and exercises poor judgment in doing so?
Well, now you're getting into one of the key issues here, right? Which is when we're talking about criminality and crime, we're at some point going to discuss intent, right? Which is why if you don't successfully set off a bomb that potentially could have killed many people, That is a very deliberate act. You made a bomb or you obtained a bomb. You went and you had every intention of killing many, many people. We could say that that level of intent is very different than the absolute criminally gross negligent act of drunk driving. But it is different. Thus, when the intent is not to go out there and kill someone, should we evaluate the repercussions differently based on the level of intent or negligence?
Yeah. Well, that's the question. And
Your ruling remains, though.
Yes, that we have the same penalty for both drivers. That's my moral ruling.
All right. That is Lewis's decision on the first 2016 edition of Morality with Motamedi. 2 drunk drivers, same punishment, whether they hit or don't hit that pedestrian. Now, the third scenario is, what if there's not even any pedestrians around and it's 3 a.m. and they fly through that crosswalk and nobody's there at all? If we can't associate a near miss to it, should there still be the same punishment?
I think yes, there should be,
All
especially
right.
for my original moral ruling to be consistent. I think yes, same would apply.
Send me your thoughts on this one. Send in ideas for Morality with Motamedi. We will do one of these. I think it's going to be every other Tuesday for the time being, and that's what it is. Morality with Motamedi is back.